One day of competition down, 2 to go as we start day number 2, women's individual event number 6, the toes to bar lunge. I'm Chase Hill along with Bill Grunler, and event number 6, sponsored by Whoop, is going to be a nasty, fast-paced event to start day number 2.
I love what this is set up to be. It is just fast and furious, 30, 20, 10 of the toes to bar and the kettlebell lunge. And we really have to think about what is that grass going to do. We know all these guys can go unbroken, and they have to if they want to get a good score here.
Day 2, event 6 underway. We'll start with 30 toes to bar on the rig and then move into 30 yards of that heavy dual kettlebell lunge. And Bill, when this first came out on paper, we all thought the same thing across the board. It's unbroken, it's fast, and it's furious, and there is no room for error.
There really isn't. You have to be unbroken. There's just no way around this. It's all about being that, you got to have that need for speed, and that means on the toes to bar as well as on those lunges. You got to be able to move, and you just don't have time for a no rep. So you have to make sure that those feet get back behind the plane of that bar, make sure they touch, and then also get full extension on those lunges for every single rep.
30 toes to bar done, unbroken across the board, and here becomes the tricky part of this event. When looking at it on paper, it seemed so easy to do, but those kettlebells, 2 53-pound kettlebells in that rack position, again, it's the intensity that's going to be the hardest part about this event going forward.
And Katrin came off that bar just really moving. She didn't have a whole lot of extra swing, so you saw that she was just kind of getting a lot of tension, making her feet come right back just behind the bar. That allowed her to get off that rig first, get to those kettlebells and move. And I love the way that she keeps those kettlebells up high on her shoulders, trying to rest them on her body rather than trying to use her arms to hold it. And she's just marching, getting that full extension. You can tell she's getting to the end of that red line as she's getting up to that finish mark.
David's daughter, second lane to your left, first to the rig for the round of 20. And this is where you cannot afford to have a miss. It's easy to do the 30, but that round of 20 after all this is going to be the most challenging part.
The round 2 of any CrossFit event is always the worst event because you have that lactic acid blast. The anxiety is already, like, you're in the event now. So now it's about making every single one count. So you need to be very careful about how you move, being very precise about all your movements, but you're still in the race. You still have to be in the hunt.
Hand in the air for David's daughter in lane number 2, indicating 5 reps to go as she'll be first off the rig, followed closely behind by your champ, Tia Claire Toomey, and Brooke Wells in lane number 1. Katrin Davis' daughter won the CrossFit Games 2 years in a row back in 2015 and 16, but since then, it's been the lady to her right. Tia Claire Toomey has dominated the sport for the last 3 years.
You can see Katrin up in the front. For the most part, she's able to just step up and walk. She hasn't had to do where the foot comes up and locks out. Kind of like she's like getting a little off balance. You see a couple of those, but for the most part, nice calm steps. Tia looks like she's in the hunt, picking up the tempo just a little bit, but Katrin's got those nice long lunges really paying off for her.
David's daughter is done as she'll advance her kettlebells, but Tia Claire Toomey close on her heels, but Tia drops the kettlebells in the middle. And I think as long as they get to the end, it's going to be okay. So that's a strategic ploy from Tia Claire Toomey, leaving her kettlebells right in the middle of the rig.
Katrin, you can see her wincing, barely trying to hold on. She's trying to keep that tight midline so she can rep those out real quick.
Now Tia was off the bar first, but her kettlebells were back, and we have a lunge race to the finish. 10 yards between your former champs. Tia Claire Toomey on the right, David's daughter on the left.
And this is the fight right here. You can see that Katrin was just trying to stay up there, but a little bit of a fail. And I think she honestly, once she realized she couldn't catch it, she stopped. She basically let Tia go.
Tia Toomey will win her 4th event in just 6 here at the 2020 CrossFit Games. David's daughter in 2nd, and Brooke Wells just behind in 3rd.
And I'm really surprised that Haley is way here in the back. I mean, of all the movements, this would have been one of the ones that I thought she would have been done so well in. But just the speed of those ladies up in the front, I guess you just couldn't hang with them.
Carrie Pierce on the right, trying to get at least 4th in this heat. She'll lock in 35 points, but Haley Adams, who is coming in 2nd place off her 2nd place finish on the trail run last night, is going to get 5th in just 15 points to start off day number 2. But Tia Toomey, what a move. Placing her kettlebells down at the middle of the rig so she can get up faster. Now it all evens out in the end, but that quick, savvy move that is one of those veteran moves you see from a champion like Tia Toomey.
Tia, it looked like the name of the game here was going to be unbroken and flawless in order to get to the top here. Is that sort of your mentality, or was it going into this?
Yeah, definitely. You know, this is relatively a sprint workout, if you will. But it really came down to transitions and being efficient with that.
Sure. And we had a big day one. You tested a lot of different modalities. I'm sure that you are aching in different places. But going into day two, I mean, how was your recovery last night, and how's the body feeling today?
Yeah, body feels great. Recovery was on peak as much as what I could have had hoped for. Definitely was fueling the body, keeping it hydrated, and then, getting the necessary recovery protocols in as well. So I feel great this morning after a nice long sleep, and I'm ready for day two.
Great. Well, congrats.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Tia Toomey picks up where she left off, an event win to start off day number 2, and extends her lead over second place, now Katrin Davidsdottir, who just jumped Haley Adams for that third place position.
And this is going to be flip-flopping, I think, every single event because of the way those point totals are setting and how much each point are worth.
Bill, we saw the women tackle this event. How is this going to shape up for the men?
It's all about speed and attacking this event. You cannot fear it and you cannot game it. You have to go. So 30, 20, 10 of the toes to bar and kettlebell lunges. They have 70 pounds in each hand. It's fast. It's furious.
Lane assignments for men's event number 6. Your champ in center lane, lane number 3, will lead the field. Now, we said yesterday he was 7 pounds shy of a 5-event win day, but just next to him in lane number 4 is Justin Medeiros.
And Justin Medeiros, every time he's had the chance to line up next to Matt and gun for him, he has done just that. So I'm looking to see the same sort of attack here. There's not a whole lot of arm movement, so we don't have to see the strength in the shoulders, but he can attack, and I want to see him do it.
And it's Matt Fraser who is leading by 220 points after the first day of competition.
The last time I saw Matt do a lunge event, he walked through the games twice on the same type of event, so I expect to see nothing different but to him hammer this event.
Matt Fraser wearing that white leader jersey. Again, he only got a second place finish by 8 pounds on the CrossFit total. Event number 6 underway. Let's take a look at the keys for the toes to bar lunge, brought to you by Whoop.
And we start right at the top. The need for speed. You have to go fast. You can't be reserved or try to hold back at all, but you cannot go so fast that you get a no rep. A no rep here would be so costly. And I'm not talking just a no rep. I'm talking you can go from first to fifth and lose all those points in the making.
We saw on the women's side is that it is unbroken, and that is the only choice. But not just that, you have to be fast the whole time. Just doing 30, 20, 10 in a row isn't good enough. You actually have to do them faster than everybody else. How do you do that?
I think the only way you can is not have a big swing. That's one of the things that Noah did there. That's why he was first off the rig, was because he didn't have that big backswing. His feet stopped right at the line, and he was able to pull right back up.
Noah Olson, the center part of your screen, in the blue shorts, first off the rig, followed closely on the right side of the screen by rookie Justin Medeiros, with Matt Fraser in the white shirt in the center lane.
Look at the way Matt's moving. I see Noah in the blue shorts standing up nice and tall. Matt's really attacking and moving forward. He needs to be very careful that he stands up all the way, because it's that no rep that could possibly happen.
Look at the top part of your screen. That'll be the leader in the event in blue, with the time in the upper left-hand corner, as Noah Olson in lane number 2 will be first to the rig for the set of 20 toes to bar. Matt Fraser, Justin Medeiros actually pick up what they learned from Tia Toomey in the first event, placing their kettlebells down right underneath the pull-up rig.
Watching how the tempos of all three of these athletes on the screen are moving, you can see Noah's being very tight. It's almost like a rebound, so it's much harder on your midline and on your abs, but if you have that ability, it's much faster.
Just saw a break for Samuel Quat, but no break for Noah Olson, as he will come off the rig first and on to his 20 yards of lunges. Now those are two 70-pound kettlebells, and the hard thing about those is just an awkward weight.
It is, and I mean, you know, you don't want to have your arms do any of the work, so you see all the athletes are really putting them high up on the shoulders so it's on the body. Oh, and there's a stumble.
Here comes Matt Fraser, just to the right of Noah Olsen. We saw the same thing happen on the women's side. It's for Tia Toomey chasing down Katrin Davidsdottir. Noah picks up a little trick from Matt, but Matt is first to the rig for the final 10 toes to bar.
Now Matt is doing that fast rebound toes to bar setup right there, much faster. You can see his tempo's actually increased as we got into this last set of 10.
Fraser's off the rig. Olsen just behind him. Madero's the only man sitting in third, but it is Matt Fraser hard charging to the finish line. 5 yards to go for his 5th win of the weekend.
Incredible. And what's insane about this is Noah was moving so fast, but Matt broke him. He broke him off. Noah pushed the tempo the way he needed to. That was exactly what Noah was supposed to do. But Matt had that extra gear and was just to be able to go roll right by him. And he looked better in the last 10 than he did in the first 10.
Madero's finishing up in third, as you have Samuel Quant and Jeffrey Adler still left on the field. Quant about 5 yards away now. Samuel Quant had that rough go in the trail run last night.
He did, but you know what? I think one of the good things about that was when he knew he was last, he just was trying to finish. So when he finished, he didn't look that beat up, which maybe was a good thing for him.
Adler, he'll be finishing 5th in this event. Now with the point system goes, it's only going to be worth 15 points. But what's good for him is coming up next may be his best opportunity to win an event this weekend. That'll be it for the men. And Matt Fraser didn't start in first, but closed it out in the end and finished in first, chasing down Noah Olsen in those final 10 repetitions.
Matt, you were not the first off of the toes to bar, but you did manage to catch up to Noah midway through. How were you able to push through? Where did you catch him?
I mean, he was like a rabbit out in front of me. I mean, his first set of toe to bar, he did a great job with those. I think my placement on the kettlebells just a little bit better. Gave me less rest time, but a quicker transition. I think I was able to keep chugging on the lunges a little bit more, so paid off in the end.
We heard from the demo team this morning that this was sort of a sneaky grip workout, that you never really got a break between the toe to bar and where you had to hold the kettlebell. Did you feel that way?
No, I didn't feel my grip at all. You know, glutes, hamstrings
Sure.
from those lunges. I think the lunges on paper, they look super simple, but they added up quickly.
Matt, we may be on the verge of history here with you if you can take another title. How much does that fire you up throughout the weekend?
Nothing.
It doesn't.
I'm approaching this the same way I approached my first one. Each one, the season brought different obstacles, different things to overcome. You know, every year there's different strengths and weaknesses with the events that appear. I'm not focused on something like that. I'm focused on one event at a time.
Well, congrats. Thank you.
Thank you.